All right, Mark, for you.
All right. All right. Hi. Hi, this is Mark here. So good morning, everyone. I hope you guys enjoy the Beatles classic just now that I play. Okay, despite what you might think, Let It Be is not religious at all, according to the man who wrote this song, Paul McCartney, Sir Paul McCartney actually, made it clear that while this song sounds religious and is a-okay if you take it that way, but it has an entirely different meaning. Okay, so during an interview, Paul said that one night during this tense and tough time, I had a dream. I saw my mother, who had been dead 10 years or so, and she said to me, "Let it be, it's going to be a-okay. Don't worry, let it be." So I woke up and I remember the dream, and I then sat down and wrote the song. So if you look at the lyrics, right? So I think the first line, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So Mary was actually Paul McCartney's mother's name, not the Virgin Mary in the Bible. So as you can see here, inspiration can actually strike in the most unexpected places, and often the best creative ideas actually occurs while we are sleeping. Okay, so why we sleep, right? Frankly speaking, I'm not any kind of a sleep expert, but after I finished the masterclass video tutorial, alongside with this book that I'm going to share, I vow to be a humble sleep ambassador that I'm going to, thinking of to communicate the knowledge to friends and family because I was having hard time with sleep. So I found that this piece of information is useful to me. So I hope that it's actually useful to you too. So please bear with me if I can't answer some of your questions, as my sharing is just based on my limited knowledge that I gain and learn from the book. All right. All right. So okay, so I have nothing but one slide, and this is a note that I have taken after I went through the masterclass and also the book. And I squeezed almost everything into this A3 size paper. In fact, this is a virtual digital A3 size paper. Okay, so I handwritten this note on top of the diagrams that I actually screenshot from the book with Procreate on my iPad, right? So, Why We Sleep is a fascinating book that actually dives into the purpose and power of slumber. I think I hear some noise.
Yeah, for those that not speaking, right, I think you can get yourself a mute.
Okay, so the book is actually written by the neuroscientist and sleep researcher Matthew Walker, this guy, okay, who is actually a professor of neuroscience and psychology and the director of the Center of Human Sleep Science at the University of California. So this book became an international bestseller, including a number one Sunday Times bestseller in the UK and also a New York Times bestseller in year 2017. All right. And I think everyone actually knows Bill Gates actually loves to read, but I never aware of his good sense of humor. Okay, he actually wrote a book review for this book with the title "This Book Put Me to Sleep." So sounds like it's a boring book, but he actually picked this book as one of his top five favorite books of year 2019. And he said this book has actually nudged him to sleep for at least 7 hours a night. So in the past, he actually used to run on caffeine. So beside the good comments, right, all the good comments, there are also criticism from a guy called Alexei Guzzi actually, who is an independent researcher with background in economics. And he said this book is actually full with scientific and also factual errors. So I suggest you read the book yourself and do your own judgment. All right. So let's zoom in a bit and navigate through the mind map. All right. I'm not sure whether you guys can see it clearly, and probably you guys can follow my cursor. All right. So what is this thing called sleep, right? According to the survey, they are wanted of the entire world populations not getting enough sleep. So sleep loss is actually a global problem, right? So as what you can see from here, as for the chronotypes, despite the human being is a diurnal species, which means we are awake during the day and asleep during the night. But since our ancestors are actually hunter-gathering tribes, and according to a theory called Sentinel hypothesis, there's always at least one individual stay awake to keep watch for danger in a group of people, be it in the village or a cave, right, during the night. So out of this million years of long evolutions, adaptations, we have now three chronotypes, right? So we have night owl, we have which is actually around 25 to 30%, and also morning lark, which is also about the same ratio. And the third type, which is something in between. So some people actually referring it to dove. Okay. So which one are you? So that is the questions, right? However, um, too bad that you don't have much control on this because your specific chronotype is actually genetically inherited and is actually hardwired in 9 of your genes. So the only thing you can do is to find out your chronotype and be harmony with it and don't go against it. For example, shift works and things like that, right? So as what you can see from the chronotype circadian rhythm chart here, right? I forgot to color code it, but I think this one is actually for the night owl, right? And this one is actually for the morning lark. So for the morning lark, you probably go to sleep at 10 p.m. and then it will last for the entire night until about 6 a.m. Then you wake up, right? And then for night owl, you probably sleep, after the midnight, and then you woke up at maybe 9 a.m., right? So this is a typical circadian rhythms chart for the chronotypes, okay? But there's one thing that we need to be aware that this curve can actually shifted forward and backward across our lifespan. So for example, the later senior years, it may actually revert back to the a more childlike timing and patterns. All right.
Hey, Mark, would you share a bit about circadian rhythm? What does that mean?
It's actually I'll actually share this graph later, so I'll explain later. All right. So okay, so as what you can see from here, we have this sleeping problems, right? That caused by the chronotypes. So we have insomnia, and then we have chronotype mismatch, which actually mismatch with your sleep and wake schedule. So as I mentioned just now, don't go against your chronotype, right? And then the other big problem is actually society is actually heavily biased against the night owl, and the late sleeper are tired of being discriminated against, and now science actually has its back. So I still remember while I was in primary school, one of my schoolmate actually always late for class early in the morning and always get scolded by teacher as lazy bones. So now only I realized that he's actually obviously a night owl, right? And then in terms of amount of sleep needed, so for adults is in average 7 to 9 hours for an adult. and more for children. Okay. And then the other observations here that I capture is actually the effect of daylight saving. Okay, so the sleep problem could be actually exemplified by daylight saving. In the United States, the daylight saving actually began on mid March and ends on early November. So the idea of aligning the waking hours to daylight hours to conserve energy was actually first proposed by Benjamin Franklin. But the effect of daylight saving due to the loss of an hour sleep when the clocks are set forward 1 hour, according to the big data here that we gathered from 1.6 billion people over 70 countries, it can actually induce loss of problem. So as what I can see here, your heart attack rate actually raised by 24%, and then the road traffic accidents also rising up, and the suicide rate and also the acute death rate is also increasing. Okay. So back to your questions, Billy. So there are two types of two factors actually regulating our sleep and wakefulness: the circadian rhythm and also the sleep pressure. So the circadian rhythm, this one, the dotted graph, right, is actually your. I hear some echo. Okay, so the circadian rhythm is actually your bio clock, right? And this is actually the process C curve here, okay, which actually sync like a sine wave. And it can be actually visualized by correlations with your body temperature as well, okay? And then the second one is actually the sleep pressure, the process S curve here, which look exactly like a supercapacitor and battery charging and discharging non-linear curves. So what I was working in the NSG team as the EV lead a couple years back, right? So I will have to actually measure the supercapacitor charging and discharging time in the solid state drive. And when I first look at this graph, right, I was like, geez, this is exactly like the supercap charging and discharging curve. So I think human is really like a machine, right? So this sleep curve is actually controlled by an organic chemical compound called adenosine. Okay, so adenosine. Okay, so the with the accumulations of the adenosine, the longer one is awake, the more pressure there is to sleep. So let's go to this chart, right? As well, you can see from here, at the very beginning of the point here, 7 a.m., where your process C and process S is almost at the same point, right? So this small delta between your process S and process C will give you a strong urge to be awake. So low adenosine will make you feel refreshed with a positive mode. So along the course of your daily routine, then the sleep drive will basically build up your sleepiness as well as your adenosine level. So it will build up, right? And at the same time, your circadian rhythms will swing, right? And towards to the night, right? And then your alertness will go downwards here, while your sleepiness is actually built up until you hit this point around 11 p.m. Of course, this graph is actually based on a morning clock, as for an example. So at this point, your delta between your process S and your process C is the maximum. So this will actually give you a strong urge to sleep, and you will fall asleep at this point, right? And then from this point onwards, the adenosine will be removed during your sleep. Okay, and that will actually decrease your sleep pressure until this point, 7 a.m. Then you awake again. So this kind of pattern will actually repeat itself, okay, day after day. So circadian rhythm is actually controlled by a suprachiasmatic nucleus. We call it SCN, and it actually uses the melatonin, which is actually the darkness hormone. And this darkness hormone melatonin will actually circulate through your brain and your body to tell us it's nighttime, it's time to sleep, or it's daytime, it's time to stay awake. So the mechanism here is that when your retina hit the sunlight, then it will instruct your SCN to stop releasing the melatonin. Okay, so as what you can see from this chart, this is basically the cycle of melatonin. It will peak at sometime midnight. Okay, so this will give you a strong urge to fall asleep. So something to be aware of, right? So don't let the LED, strong LED, to fool your SCN. So maybe you can reduce your screen time 2 hours before your sleep, or use blue light filter, or use incandescent bulbs, right? To actually avoid it from actually mislead your SCN to reduce the melatonin. All right. And the other misconceptions on melatonin is that a lot of people actually thinking that melatonin is actually the panacea for sleep disorder, but it's not, right? So for adults, maybe 0.5 to 3 milligram is good enough. So take more will actually makes your body less receptive to melatonin, and may actually stop your body from producing it. So it's not good for long run. All right. And then for midlife or older, maybe 5 to 10 milligram is actually good as a sleep aid. Okay, so as for the case of sleep deprivation, okay, that's what you can see from here. The buildup of your sleep debt is actually not like a bank. You cannot get back with recovery sleep. For example, at this point, you're supposed to sleep, right? But if you want to stay awake, continue to stay awake, then the adenosine will still keep on building up, okay? And without the sleep, it won't actually discharge here. So you continue to build up, and until this point, the delta is lesser now, so you feel that you are not that asleep, but in fact, your level of adenosine is still building up. Until this point, it's actually you hit the point of overpowering urge to sleep. So it's actually will damage your health. All right. Okay, so why should you sleep? So in summary, as what I noted here, okay, the shorter you sleep, the shorter your lifespan, and the quality of that shortened life will be worse. So sleep is really like an elixir of life, or a Swiss army knife of health. Okay, so let's talk about impact to your health with dysregulated sleep or less sleep. So as what I can see here, lack of sleep actually can impact your memory, and actually increase, not reduce, is a typo here. All right, increase the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease, cancers, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, anxiety, and depression. For cancer, we found some correlations of type of some types of cancer. For example, lungs cancer, ovarian, thyroid cancer, and also blood cancer. All right. And it also, sleep will actually slow down your physiological aging process. And if lack of sleep, then your immune system will basically compromise. Okay. So as I mentioned just now, night shift work is carcinogen due to disruptions of circadian rhythm. And this is actually a warning from the WHO. And the other thing that quite shocking is that it also can cause gene dysfunctional. So there's a latest study saying that there are a total of 711 genes will get distorted and switch off in their activity due to lack of sleep. All right. So another kind of problem is also impact on the sex hormone. So for male, the testosterone will actually dropping if you have sleep problem, and then your muscle mass will actually dropping as well. Your bone mass and also your bone density will dropping, and then your sexual activity will also dropping. And for female, the follicle stimulating hormone is also can be reduced, and that will actually basically also cause your reproductive ovulations to drop by up to 20 to 30%, and then it will cause your abnormal menstrual cycle, and also miscarriage rate is also increasing. Okay, and then if your sleep is less than 7 hours, then there'll be 3x more likely to be infected by flu, right? And then less than 5 hours, I think 70% more likely will be infected by pneumonia, for example, COVID, right? And then less than 4 hours, 70% drop in the immune system killer cells activity, and then 2x risk of getting cancer. And if getting cancer, then the cancer will basically grow more quickly and aggressively. All right. And then for hormone imbalance, it will cause the change of the balance of your leptin and ghrelin, and it will cause weight gain. So this is actually the appetite regulating hormone. The leptin actually signals the satisfaction with food and tell your brain and your body that you are no longer hungry and can stop eating and you are full. And then for ghrelin, it's actually a hormone of hunger. And even if you eat a full meal, if your ghrelin is high, then you still want to eat more. So that basically will cause weight gain problems, right? And then insulin. Insulin is actually the metabolic hormone controlling your blood sugar. So in layman term, it's actually sucking glucose from your blood, right? So undersleep will basically cause your insulin to drop and disrupt your metabolic body sugar equation. Okay, and then that will cause your glucose absorption to drop by 40%, and it will basically cause type 2 diabetes. Okay, and then cortisol. Cortisol is actually a chronic stress-related hormone. So it will cause your cortisol to rise, and then that will basically, lead to diabetes problem as well as depressions and mental illness, right? And then the last one is actually, we call it gut microbiome. It's actually a bacteria that helping to regulate your healthy constitutions within an intestinal tract. So this bacterial group can be separate to two species, the bacteria-based species and also the fermented species. And lack of sleep can actually cause the ratio to go out of control, and that will makes your fermented species to be greater than your bacterial based species. All right. Okay,
Mark,
so
would you
yeah,
know what will happen if the fermented species are more than the bacteria-based species? What will happen in this
your
case?
yeah, so your digestion system will go haywire. Yeah, all right. I hope that I can
Okay, thank you.
yeah. And then for obesity, so if you look at this graph, right, this is a good graph. On the left side is actually the average sleep amount, and the right side is actually the obese individual for Americans. So as what I can see from here, from year 1940, at year 1940, our average sleep amount is close to 9 hours. Okay, and because of all this type of industrial revolution and things like that, our sleep amount is actually dropping drastically from 9 hours to around 6.25 hours, right? And then your obese actually raised from 12% up to 35%. Okay, so when lack of sleep, your body will basically start metabolize your muscle and protein, but not fat. So it will metabolize firstly your muscle and protein because you need fat to continue surviving, right? So insufficient sleep respond can also respond to unhealthy food. For example, your amygdala, I will discuss this, will become very active to pizza, ice cream, and candy. So those junk food, right? Okay, so learning and memory functions, right? So sleep is actually needed both for before learning as well as after learning. So burning the midnight oil before your exam is not a good idea. Because why? Because you need sleep before learning to lay down the memory traces and make your brain like a dry sponge ready to soak information. And then after learning, you also need sleep to actually cement, associate, assimilate, and integrate your informations and your memory, and as well as your learnings into the neural architecture. Okay, so as what you can see from here, we also have brain study with CT scanner, MRI, and this kind of new technology. And with this injectable radioactive tracer, it actually allows researcher to see the aerial scan to study our brain activities, right? So as what I can see, you have amygdala here, which is actually control the emotion learning and responding. Okay, and then you have the hippocampus, this long thing in green color. It's actually hippocampus is actually specialized for memory. So this amygdala and hippocampus will build up your limbic system, and the amygdala pathway here is actually take care of the emotion learning and responding, which is actually a crucial part of learning process for all animals, including human, right? So we are basically learn by responding to the reward, right? So we need reward system to learn. Same like dog training or animal trainer in the zoo, right? And PFC, the prefrontal cortex, is actually the high-level executions control that you need to do. You need it to do your decision making, planning, and rational judgment. Okay, and then explicit memory is actually used to handle general facts and also semantic informations. And implicit memory is the motor memory stored in a basal ganglia here, okay? And cerebrum is here, okay? So What the sleep deprivations will cause is that your amygdala pathway here will become hyperactive with I think 60% more erratic and sensitive, and it trigger problems like depressions and anxiety, and also the PTSD, you know, uh, and it will basically cause also schizophrenia, okay, schizophrenia, suicide, emotional unstable, and all types of psychiatric conditions. Okay, and then for other problem like drowsy driving, this is dangerous, right? So microsleep is actually referring to a periods of sleep that last very short seconds. So people who experience this may actually doze off without realizing it. So when you are driving and you don't even realize that you are sleeping, is very dangerous. Actually, your brain will goes to micro sleep from time to time. Okay, so if your sleep is less than 4 hours, for example, right, then you are actually facing 12 times, close to 12 times, 11.5 x, will actually cause the accident and car crashes. All right. And then athlete performance, okay, impact due to lack of sleep. Okay, so athlete actually needs long hours sleep to maintain performance. Okay, why? Because lack of sleep will basically decrease your peak performance and also your strength, and then decrease your lungs ability to expire CO2 and inhale O2, decrease time to physical exhaustions to less than actually around 15 to 30%. Okay, and then it will reduce the ability of sweating, which is actually the key cooling mechanism, right? And then it will also cause lactic acid buildup and cause your muscle cramps. Okay, so as far as you can see, LeBron James, the basketball player, actually needs 11 hours sleep, right? And then Roger Federer, the tennis player, actually needs 10 hours sleep. Performance will actually falls apart if not. All right. Okay, so here, how to actually harvest your creative genius. Okay, so sleep actually inspire creativity as an information alchemy. Okay, especially non-REM sleep actually replay a memory to etch it to your cortex to save all the memories, and then the selective memory will actually selectively choose what you should remember and what you should be forgetting. Okay, and then it will also try to integrate your memory to your previous memory catalog of your autobiographical experience, and then it will revise your mind-wide web, not the World Wide Web, but mind-wide web. Okay, and then with that, it can actually reconnecting all the dots, right? And then it will help you in terms of problem solving, provide you with hidden insights and also the creativity. All right. So there are a lot of story about harvesting your creativity from your sleep and your dream, right? So like Paul McCartney, the song that I just shared, Let It Be, right? And then the Yesterday, also another great song. They are all gifts to Paul in the dream, all right? And then Dmitry Mendeleev, who actually formulating the periodic table of elements. Okay, he said, in the dream, I saw a table where all the elements fell into places as required. Awakening, I immediately wrote it down on a piece of paper, right? And also, there are a lot of legends and things like that. For example, Thomas Edison, right? So Thomas Edison actually found a way to toggle the state between awake and asleep. So according to a legend, I'm not sure whether it's true. Okay, so Edison actually would be working on an engineering problem, sitting down in a chair with a fist full of ball bearings in one hand, and that hand actually rests on top of a metal bucket on the floor. And then the Edison would actually think about the problems, okay, while allowing himself to drift into sleep, okay. And when he was fall asleep, his hand muscle would relax and release the ball bearings into the metal bucket, right? So of course he would wake up in response to the terrible metallic noise, with his brain full of dreamlike creativity ideas. All right, so just take that as legend. I'm not sure whether it's true or not. Okay, so how we sleep, right? Um, Here, from a certain perspective, wakefulness is actually a low level of brain damage, okay? And sleep is actually a sanitary salvation. So let's take a look at the hypnogram to understand how we sleep and what actually going on during our sleep. Okay, so this is basically the hypnogram. Can you guys see it clearly?
Yep, Mark, this is good.
Okay, so there are 5 sleep stages. One for rapid eye movement, which is actually, we call it REM sleep, the dream sleep. And then 4 that actually form the non-REM sleep. So these stages are determined based on analysis of your brain activity during sleep, right? Which actually shows distinct patterns that characterize each of the state. Okay, so a typical hypnogram actually has 5 or more cycle, as what you can see from here, repeating throughout the night. So let's take a look at the stages from top to bottom. So we have wake state, okay, fully wake state. And then we have this REM state. It's actually, why they call REM is actually stand for rapid eye movement, or it's actually a dream sleep, okay. And then the non-REM stage 1, the deep sleep state, and then non-REM stage 2, and finally non-REM stages 3 and 4. So they combine 3 and 4, but if you want to break it down in more detailed manner, you can actually see that 3 and 4 is actually different as well. Okay, so the non-REM stage 3 and 4 is actually the slow wave sleep. And the cerebral waves are actually different in amplitude and frequency for each of the state, right? And the stages actually battle the domination throughout a night. So as what you can see from this scale, this is 1 second, and this is 50 microwatt volt, right? So when you awake, your brain wave looks like this. So high frequency, but the amplitude is very small. And then during your REM sleep, actually your visual, brain, emotion, memory, motor activity area are actually 30% more active than your wake state actually. So in other words, it's actually bursts into life, right? So it's actually, in terms of amplitude, it's actually higher than when you are awake. Yeah. And then REM sleep, right? Usually start about 90 minutes after you fall asleep. Okay, here. So this 90 minutes is the golden period if you can sleep well in the first 90 minutes, then it's high chances that you can sleep well throughout this all 5 cycles. Okay, so your brain activities, 90%, maybe we can talk about when you do the non-REM, but actually REM is very short for this period. Okay, so so let's discuss in detail on REM sleep first. Okay, so why we call it REM sleep is that your eye actually can dart around quickly, and your pulse, blood pressure, and your breathing speed will actually speed up. And this is also when you do most of your dream. So this period. Okay. So REM sleep is actually important for learning and memory. And during REM, your fight or flight branch of nervous systems are 30% more active than you are awake. So as I mentioned just now, a lot of areas will be lighting up when you try to monitor your brain, your motor area, your emotion, your memory, and also your visual cortex. So this is very strange. You close your eyes, there's no light hitting on your retina and pass your information to your visual cortex at the back, right? But this visual cortex is still active. What does that mean? It actually means that in your dream, when you see things, it's actually like an illusion, but it looks really real. Okay. Okay, so REM is actually also an emotional convalescence therapy to actually calm you down. If you deprive a man of deep REM sleep, he will become emotionally very unstable. And during the REM sleep, the brain will actually paralyze all your voluntary muscles, your legs, your arms, to make sure that you are sleeping like a log and safe from falling from bed, right? So in your dream, you might being chased by a tiger. Hello?
Yeah, Mark, I can hear you still.
Yeah, it looks like it's dropped for a while. All right, so let me continue. Okay, so yeah, so you paralyze all your voluntary muscle, your legs and your arm, even though you are being chased by a tiger in your dream, but you still, you still sleep like a log, right? But for involuntary muscle, it's still functioning. So your heart, your lungs muscle is still keep on pumping your blood, right? All right, so why your dream seems so irrational and illogical and also bizarre? That is because the PFC is being turned off during REM. So as we mentioned just now, PFC is actually used for executive control, decision making, and rational and judgment and all these things, right? So without the PFC, it become very, your dream will become very irrational and illogical. Okay, question? All right, so let's move on to non-REM sleep stage 2. So non-REM stage 2 actually will help to generate and recharge your immune system. So it's very important too to make sure that your immune system, such as your lymphatic system, can produce antibodies to fight with virus and bacteria. So you really need this non-REM stage 2 to actually take care of your immune system. Okay, and now non-REM stage 3 and 4. So this is actually a deep sleep mode where your body temp and your heart rate will be reducing. and the quiescent branch of your nervous system will allow the sewage lymphatic system to kick in to clean up the toxic protein, the beta amyloid protein from your brain. So this amyloid protein is actually a toxic protein, right? And as well, you can see from here, deprive a man of sleep for just one single night, or deprive them of deep non-REM sleep, you will see an immediate increase of beta amyloid in your bloodstream or cerebral spinal fluid. Okay, and this neuroscientist Michael Nedergaard actually found associated evidence of Alzheimer's disease and the build-up of your beta amyloid by discovering the glymphatic brain cleaning system. So this cerebral spinal fluid will accumulate your beta amyloid, which is actually the toxic protein, and then the non-sleep stage 3 and 4 will initiate the sewage glymphatic systems cleaning to clean up all the beta amyloid toxic from your brain. Okay, so if sleep less than 6 hours, then it's pretty easy to actually develop beta amyloid toxic later in your life. All right. So what else? Okay, so the REM sleep and non-REM sleep ratio can actually changes across your lifespan. Okay, when you are less than 2 years during your infancy period, your REM and non-REM is something like 50-50, and then childhood time and teenagers time, your non-REM is more than your REM. And then for adult, your non-REM is actually, taking 3 out of 4 parts. And then your elderly stage, right? Your brain waves and your circadian rhythm will become swallow, and also your, it become fragmented. So when you do your sleep, when you go for your sleep, your non-REM and REM is actually, fragmented, something like this. All right. So as what I can see from here, the time that taken for you to stay in each of the state is actually determined by your gene, and your brain will actually keep track how much REM sleep and non-REM as well that it should have had. All right, and some patterns that need to be is quite mysterious as well. From cycle to cycle, you can see that the time you spend on deep sleep from cycle to cycle is actually reducing. So for the first cycle is longer for your non-REM, 3 and 4, and then it gets shorter and shorter. And from cycle to cycle, you can see that your REM is actually increasing, right? If start with this, a short period and then ended with a long period. But your brain will actually keep track out of the time needed for each of the state. All right. I think we are running out of time. So sleep deficiency and causes, right? So first of all, alcohol is a no good. It's not a sleep aid, but it's actually a sedative to make you calm. So it's not good. You should avoid it. Yeah.
We should good to go for another 15 minutes, and then we're going to take 50 minutes of Q&A.
Sure. Okay. So I'll try to finish it quickly. And then we have a pop quiz as well. All right. So caffeine. Okay. So caffeine is better than alcohol, but it's actually a psychoactive stimulant as well. Despite it has some health benefits, however, the doses and the timing is crucial. So the problem with caffeine is that caffeine can cause disruption of sleep quality by decreasing your deep state, your non-REM state. Because it's hijacked over your adenosine receptor and block the real adenosine from plugging into the receptor, as what I can see from here. Okay, so this is the adenosine receptor that should work to actually discharge your adenosine. But caffeine actually looks exactly like adenosine. So it actually will hijack the receptor and it blocks the actual adenosine to plug into the receptor. So it gives you illusions that you are fresh and you are awake, but your body is not. Okay. And also electrolyte rehydration drinks like 100 plus and those energy drink also contain caffeine too, so it's not good. And decaffeinated coffee still has 5 to 20% of caffeine based on your brand, right? And then some people actually with genes that can speed up and slow down the metabolisms of the caffeine. But for this is a typical half-life graph, right? So caffeine actually need 6 hours for the half-life to drop 50%. So from 100%, and after you drink your coffee and after 6 hours, there are still around 50% caffeine in your body after 6 hours. And I think the arrow is wrong. So after 12 hours, your caffeine is still as high as 25%. Okay, so this will basically causing disruptions on your REM sleep here, and it will actually impact your sleep quality and decrease your deep state here. All right, so another problem is intense exercise. You guys should follow my cursor here. So intense exercise before sleep can also cause a sleep problem, right? Why? Because your endorphins will rush and that will give you feelings of pressure. And then your heart rate will basically going up. Okay, your body temp will going up as well. And endorphins will also rising up. And this is actually your appetite stimulant. So it needs hours to actually come down before sleep. And this will basically make you harder to sleep, right? So this, better don't go for intense exercise during the night. Okay. All right. Jet lag. Okay. Jet lag is another, interesting topic. So jet lag is actually a mismatch of internal bioclock versus the your new time zone that you have just arrived in. So the sad thing about jet lag is that it has no cure. Okay, so it can be only adjustable in a very slow pace. Okay, so how much you will get back 1 hour of reset time per day. So meaning you need 1 hour. You need 1 day to actually reset 1 hour. So let's take, for example, if you are traveling from, say, Penang to San Francisco, which is around 15 hours apart, right? Then I would say the most tiring trip is a short business trip. For example, a trip with 2 weeks in duration. Why? Because you need 1 day to reset 1 hour. So 15 hours, you need 15 days to reset your bioclock back to be in sync with your current time zone, right? So by the time that your bioclock already adjusted to the local time, it's almost time for you to fly back to Penang, and you have to actually suffer another round of 15 days of jet lag. So in total, there'll be 1 month loss in terms of productivity and your health. Okay, so how to minimize it? sleep during the first half of the long haul flight. Stay awake for at least 12 hours and take 0.5 to 1 milligram of melatonin. Avoid caffeine or alcohol during the flight. Say no to free alcohol. And at your destination, keep it regular and waking up at standard time. Get sunlight in the morning for at least 20 to 30 minutes. Okay. Okay. Power naps. Power naps is actually the double-edged sword. Okay. Is some benefits can be a good methods for those working night shift or prolonged sleep is inevitable. For example, doctor, frontline pilot, and things like that, right? And then it will improve your cardiovascular system, lower down your blood pressure, improve your learning and memory, even as less than as 17 minutes can help on fixation of memory. And then you restore your level of alertness and also your focus. Okay, the problem is that it will induce sleep inertia if nap for more than 45 minutes. You will feel worse than before the nap. So if you look at the circadian graph, the problem with naps is that you actually will disrupt your adenosine, because your adenosine actually need to build up for you to fall asleep, right? But if you actually you go for a nap, then your adenosine will basically discharge and you recharge back. So the whole graph will go haywire, and actually it will disrupt your sleep pressure. So BKM is less than or equal to 20 minutes. Okay, so I think this is the last branch from my my map. So sleep is the greatest public health challenges in this century, and lack of sleep is actually going to have a catastrophic impact to your healthness and also productivity health. So it is of utmost importance to improve your sleep, and then the society need to be aware of some facts here. So more sleep actually leads to a higher productivity, and maybe we need to actually change our corporate culture to adopt chronotypes. Yeah, so we need to have an appreciation of chronotypes because it's a legacy problem of industrial era, but no longer necessary in digital era. So we should understand and work with chronotypes, and for optimal working hours with some degree with flexibility, and also we should plan schedule towards a specific individual. Okay. So social jet lag. Okay, so social jet lag is actually a sleep bulimia. It's actually a phenomenon where we actually sleep and awake earlier during the weekdays, but sleep and wake later during the weekend because we need to socialize with friends. We go to karaoke, things like that. Okay, and then sleeping pills. Sleeping pills is no. So it's sedative hypnotics that can actually lead to forgetfulness and risk of having cancer and also mortality. So if you look at this graph, pretty scary actually. So if you take sleeping pills more than 132 pills per year, so meaning maybe 1 week you take maybe 3 or 4, then you will be having as high as 5.5x times of your the risk of death. Okay, so be careful with sleeping pills. Okay, so this graph is about global economic costs of sleep loss. You can see that US is very high. Yeah, so 411 billions per year. Japan is another country that suffer from sleep problem, and it's actually caused economic loss of due to sleep loss. as high as 138 billions. Okay, and also impact on the GDP as well. Okay, so this is basically the last one. So how to get better quality of and quantity sleep? So first of all, you need to develop a wind down routine or sleep routine with a sense of ritual way. So take a bath. You can do light stretching, meditation, read a book, write down your concerns. So there's a concept of writing your worry journal, vomiting out all your anxiety, and then you can go for a good night's sleep. And then see doctor if you need diagnosis. Some are basically already a health problem, so you need to see doctor. And for example, sleep disorder like insomnia, sleep apnea, heavy snoring, restless legs syndrome, and things like that. And then regular exercise actually impact your actually improve your sleep. So you need to spend it will help you to actually spend less time awake at night. So another BKM: no eating, no working, no watching TV on the bed. Don't eat too full or too hungry before bed, before you go to sleep, and take less sugar and high fiber food. Okay, high fiber, less sugar foods. Okay, and then if you can't sleep, just read books, light stretching, meditation, no eating, no phone, and you can actually return to bed when you feel sleepy. And then things to avoid, of course, caffeine, no caffeine in the afternoon and evening, no nicotine, avoid sleeping pills. Yeah. And then keep it regular, no matter it is weekend or weekday, keep your routine regular. And then keep it cool. So the optimal temperature is 18 degrees C. So your core temperature need to drop by 1 degree C to initiate a sleep. So this is your body will sense a drop of your body temp. So you can actually help it with warm bath before the bed. So it will actually evacuate all the heat from your body. Your blood will basically rise to the surface of your skin. And this is actually called the warm bath effect. It will help you to, condition before you sleep. And then adjust the light. Sleep time hormone, the melatonin, right? And you need to actually dim down your lights. And yeah, that will actually help you to fall into sleep. And then maximum exposure to outdoor light in the morning to make sure that your melatonin graph is back to the healthy norm. Okay, and then you can also track your sleep to detect your patterns, right? With a smart ring tracker and things like that. Okay, so I guess that's all that what I want to share. That's pretty much all that I want to share here. Oops.
Hey, Mark, thanks for sharing all this. Let me read the question. I get a question for you. Mark, is it okay?
All right, yeah.
Okay. I think the first question is the non-related from Jinjiang. He asking that can we get a copy of what you have shared, the flowchart and the diagrams?
Sure, no problem. I will send out the PDF versions and also the JPEG version in full depth. Yeah. Okay. So you'll get this.
And another follow-up question from Jinjiang is that what is the latest time we can do exercise before sleep?
I think for here, right, you need hours to calm down before sleep, right? So I would say maybe, I think evening is still okay, but not during the night.
All right. Okay, there's a question for Yuntet. He's asking that is sleep banking real?
What's that? What's that? Can you repeat again?
Concept of sleep banking. I think I
Sleep
was thinking
banking.
that the concept of sleep banking, is it something that doable if I can get it?
You mean the sleep depth, right?
Sleep bank. Yutat, would you clarify your questions?
Yeah, sure, Billy. So, I think the concept of sleep banking is like if someone knows that he'll get into this sleep deprivation in, let's say, in the next 1 or 2 days, right? Someone said that there's a concept of sleep banking where this person can actually sleep more like tonight and tomorrow, like you bank
Good question.
to anticipate the sleep deprivation.
Yeah. So it's actually same thing like the sleep debt, right? So it's not similar to a bank. So you cannot get back your with the recovery sleep. So from what I understand, based on my limited knowledge, right? So this process S and process C curve, you have to, it's like a machine, right? So you have to keep it running with the same kind of pattern, again and again. So as well, you can see from this ebb and flow of sleep deprivation graph, okay, your adenosine build up and the discharge of your adenosine, yeah, you have to actually follow the circadian rhythm. So for this case, actually you are not right. So it will go haywire, meaning your adenosine will actually build up and it will cause overpowering urge to sleep and it will actually disrupt all your circadian rhythms. And it's not like a bank, so you cannot get back.
I think that would answer in that. Yeah. Another question for Mukesh. He's asking, does the type of dreams affect the quality of sleep you get?
Actually, I'm not sure though, but dream is actually an emotional therapy. Okay, so it's a emotional convalescence that actually help to calm you down. Okay, so without sleep, your emotional will become very unstable. So I think with regards of any types of your dream, okay, but it still work as the emotional convalescent therapy for you. So it's still good for you.
Right. Another question from Ray. He's asking that is melatonin helpful in mitigate jet lags? Yeah, I think you shared that.
Yes, right. Yeah. I think I did share this one. Yeah, so take 0.5 to 1 milligram of melatonin can help, but not more than that. Okay. As what I mentioned just now, it will make your body less receptive if you take too much of melatonin, and it will cause your body to stop producing melatonin. Yeah, so I think you have to use it wisely, and when you feel the need, then you use it for a short while, then it should be okay.
Yeah. All right. Mark, Eric Lim asked this question. I think probably based on what your opinion, right? About experience of lucid dream.
Yeah. Okay, so if you are interested with dreams, right, you can actually look at one of the very good book by Sigmund Freud, Dream Interpretations. It's a very thick book, I think more than an inch. Okay, according to Sigmund theory, dream actually allows us to express fear and desire without the censorship of our conscious thoughts process. Meaning inside your dream, you are the real you. Okay. And it's a royal road to your subconscious mind. And we dream in symbols that actually represent our subconscious desires. Right. So Sigmund Freud believed that by interpreting your dream, it can understand the real you. Okay, but again, this is never able to either falsify or prove it. It's just just a theory for now.
That probably your next sharing, Mark. I was
Yeah.
very interested. Okay.
So lucid dream actually interesting. Yeah. And I'm not sure whether do you believe in dream interpretation kind of thing.
Mm.
And another fun thing about dream is that dream is actually a nighttime psychosis, right? So it's actually amnesia. You tend to forget about your dream, delusional, hallucinating, and it's also confused about time space, right? So inside your dream, there's an effect of time dilation. So 2 minutes in your dream world is equivalent to 10 minutes in your real world. Okay, and then it's also labeled. Yeah. Yeah, I agree that dream is really interesting.
Sounds like Inception thingy, Mark. We should
Yeah,
do dream
that's right.
interpretation next time.
Yeah,
Right.
I like
There's a
Inception.
question from Nuro Khalida asking about, is listening to sleep hypnosis audio a good thing?
Frankly speaking, I'm not sure, but I believe there are a lot of video and things like that saying that with certain certain frequency and certain bass can actually connect with your brain, and then it can cause you to drop into in sync with your beta wave and things like that, and make you a better sleep. I think whatever that can calm you down, whatever that can calm you down should be okay, right? So be it music or things like that.
Very good. Mark, there's a question from Muhammad Hakam asking about, is power nap good for brain health? And I think you answered this already. How long is power nap recommended to prevent from getting into deeper stage of sleep?
So it depends, right? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and 20 minutes. So you need to find your own. You need to listen to your body. Yeah. If you sleep too long, then it's not good, right? So some BKM here, even as less as 17 minutes can help on fixations of memory. Billy, can I stop for a while? I think someone calling me.
Okay.
Let's pause for a while for questions.
All right. For those that have questions, you can put in your question in the chat. I got a few more. And after this, we are going to do a short quiz. And what we wanted to do in the quiz is that we are thinking about what Mark have shared is actually quite a comprehensive summary of Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. But we are thinking that we wanted to give out 3 Why We Sleep book, and I hope that you pay attention enough to able to answer those 3 questions. And for those that get to answer the fastest, we will pick from there, and we will make our best decision to decide on that. And for the fine print, the judges' decision is final in case I do any mistakes. All right. So yeah, keep on giving the question here. One Mark is back. We are going to finish up with the questions, and then we are going to continue with the quiz.
All right. Hey,
All right.
sorry, I'm back.
Sure. Okay, Mark, we are done with the NAP question. I give a bit intro on the quiz that we are going to do later on. So this is the follow-up question from Chiranjit Kumar. He actually has 3 questions. Let me just read out the question number 1 for you. What is the hours? How many hours that are needed for sleep for normal morning exercise, like 20-minute cardio plus 10-minute running? I don't get the question.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean to say the normal work day throughout the day, and along with that morning exercise of 20 minutes.
Okay.
So how
Okay.
many?
Yeah. So you mean that in the morning you have 20 minutes of cardio plus 10 minutes of running. How many sleep that you will need at night?
Correct.
Okay. Mark?
I think your circadian rhythm actually as typical human, right? So you basically need 7 to 9 hours of sleep for an adult, right? Some claims that they can be still energetic with less than that, but maybe that's the outlier. And then some people, like some of the athlete, right? They need 11 hours or 10 hours of sleep, right? So I would say the cycle of this, okay, if you look at your hypnogram, right? So you need certain amount of sleep for you to actually complete all these cycles, right? And if you have intensive exercise during the daytime, it can actually help you to, to have a better, it make your body calm, and it will basically improve your sleep as well. So intensive exercise during the daytime, I don't think it will impact your sleep, right? But as I mentioned just now, intensive exercise before sleep is going to be a problem. Yeah, because with all this endorphin runs and rush and all this, it will cause you to, it actually needs more hours to calm down your body before you sleep.
Yeah.
I hope I answer your questions.
So
So, what I got is I have to listen to my body and go according to that.
Yeah, that's right. Stay harmony with your body and listen to your body.
and Mark, here I just have three more questions. The question number 2 is the impact of physical effort on the sleep.
I mean to say, I mean to say the normal, which I mentioned in the question one, like 20-minute cardio, 10-minute running, and the whole day work. If I do more physical work,
Uh,
will it need more sleep?
You mean
the question, yeah, Mark, you got it.
right?
The question is he need more sleep? Is he do a lot of exercise in the morning?
Oh, yeah. I think the body will feel it, and normally, if you have extensive exercise, you will sleep better, right? Because your body is actually tired.
Alright. I think the question number 3 you have answered just now. That you can actually listen to your body, how it behave and how it recover. And the question number 4 is kind of interesting, Mark. Is that can sleepwalk be cured with proper sleep?
Sleep what?
Sleepwalking.
Oh,
Sleepwalking can be cured.
sleepwalking.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sleepwalking is actually another interesting topic, right? Because just now I did mention that during your REM sleep, your brain will paralyze all the voluntary muscle. Okay, but the involuntary muscle still functioning. You cannot stop your heartbeat. You cannot stop your lungs, right? So involuntary muscles is still functioning. That's okay, but voluntary muscles should be shut down. But for sleepwalking, for some reason that I don't understand, during your REM sleep, it's actually having problems to actually shut your voluntary muscles down. So I have no idea why this happened, but it's another interesting topic to discuss.
Yeah.
So question number 3, which I asked, like in our ideal time of sleep, which you have mentioned, is between 7 to 9 hours. But what I have listened to my body, it gets recovered in 6 hours of sleep. Means after 6 hours of sleep, I feel fresh. So
Yeah.
is that recommended to follow the 6 hours of sleep, or shall I extend it to in between 7 to 9?
Yeah, I think it's actually inherited in your gene, right? So some people, like maybe Dr. M. Mahathir, he said that he can actually sleep with around 4 hours and it still can be, it still feel energetic. So I'm not sure about this kind of person. Yeah, maybe they are the descendants of the alien or lizard man from Nibiru planet. So
but
some people may live okay with less than this average. Yeah, but I'm not sure whether you need to pay for that or not. I mean, probably it will have some side effect in long run that, you know, during your later year or later during your later seniors year, then it might actually causing some problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It may induce cancer or things like that, right? So
I remember Matthew Walker mentioned about 0.001% that you are this kind of people.
yeah, very rare, rare.
Right. Okay. I think one more question or two more questions. Two more questions. Okay. If sleep during day and work during night for the same hours, what would happen? Wei Tiong, I didn't get it. If sleep during the day, okay. I think what you asked is that what if this person would like to work at night and then he sleep in the morning? What would happen?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
8 hours of sleep in the morning, but work throughout the nights.
yeah. So as I mentioned just now, human are actually diurnal species, right? But we do have three chronotypes, three different chronotypes. The night owl, which is around 30%, and morning lark 30%, and the rest are 30%. So the rest is actually something in between. But maybe there are people that you know, very rare that they actually, you know, not really like a diurnal species. So it's actually awake during the night and asleep during the day. But it actually have to go to, you know, you have to go in harmony with your own body. Okay. But to me, be it night owl or morning lark, you still need the same amount of hours for your sleep. Yeah.
Got it. All right. And the final question from Tiong Tin is that how to interpret sleep data from a smartwatch?
Oh, okay. So smartwatch, actually, you can go and buy those Xiaomi kind of thing. You know, Samsung also got this kind of tracker. In terms of accuracy, I doubt it actually, because they are actually using some gyro sensors and accelerometer in your watch to actually see whether you fall into sleep, right? So they probably said that if you move your body, but after a while you stay still, then it's actually REM sleep. So they use that kind of technology to interpret your body and grade it to whether it's a REM or non-REM or things like that. So it's not actually that accurate, right? So it's not like the hypnogram actually probe to your head and actually check your brainwave, so they can actually, you know, classify that, oh, this is REM, this is, you know, deep REM, things like that. So hypnogram is the best, right? But of course, it's not technology that can goes into everyone's house, right? So for tracker and things like that, you have to actually bear with the accuracy problems.
Right. I think something is better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. We are done with all the questions, Mark. So that we are going to have a quiz, and we are going to give out 3 books of Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, and hope that if you get the fastest in answering those questions, you are going to get the book, and the decision of the judges is final. Okay. And let me try that everyone can check the question. I'm going to start a question in the poll. What it do that it might pops up something on your screen, or it might show something on your chat box. So you can open up your chat box first, making sure that you can see the question later. And I will give a time of 1 minute. I think a time of 30 seconds. After the 30 seconds is done, so I'm going to close the poll, and whoever that is fastest will get the prize. Okay, question number 1 is just warming up, making sure everyone able to read the questions and able to answer it. Okay, so the first question are going to come up now. I give a 30 seconds.
So Billy, can I vote as well to get the vote?
Of course. and probably some of the questions later, Mark, in the end, you can give an explanation as
Okay, sure.
through the last questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we are done. Okay, let me at best ever see how can I do the timer. Okay, please open my timer. Okay. So, all right. Okay. This is the not this question. Why this question is up? Okay, done. We are done with the number one. Everyone can answer the questions, right? So everyone can see the question, everyone can answer the question, okay? Anyone that can't, let me know first. Then we are going to start with the question number 2. Onwards will be someone open up a wrong. Oh, let me check. Okay, let me open up the question number 2. This is the question that we are going to ask and hope that I can answer it. Okay, the question will come up now. What are the 2 organic chemical compounds that regulates our sleep? Choose the right answers. It might be more than one. What are the 2 organic chemical compounds that regulate our sleep? Okay. Now we are going to be 30 seconds. Like give more 10 seconds. All right, we are done. All right. So, Mark, you want to explain the 2 organic chemical compounds?
Are we done?
Yeah. I closed it. I closed the response.
But I thought we have another last questions, right?
2 more questions. Okay.
Oh, I think you go through all the questions first,
okay.
because my screen actually show all the answer for all.
Okay. What is the right amount of sleep? Okay, let me launch. Okay, the question is, what is the right amount of sleep needed for an adult? Okay, everyone seems to answer the right answer. We actually need 7 to 9 hours as an adult. Okay. All right, I'm done. So, final question. This is the final question. I'm going to launch it now. All right, launch. How many sleep stages are there? How many sleep stages are there? All right. Okay, I should close the other questions already. Okay. Yep. We actually need there's 5 sleep stages. Yeah. Mark, we are done with this. Is the first time I'm doing this poll. If anything goes wrong, we are going to work it out. Mark, you want to say something?
All right. All right. So the first one is adenosine and melatonin, right? So I think you guys already see the process C and process S curve. So you should be able to have a good understanding on these 2 chemical compound. And then the second one is 7 to 9 for an adult, right? So this is a normal distributions, right? So most of the people need 7 to 9 hours for an adult. Okay, and then the third questions, there are 5 sleep stages. So I think I did explain that we have one for the rapid eye movement dream sleep, and another 4 that actually form the non-REM sleep. So in total, it's actually 5. But the graph that I show is actually just 4 here, right? I think it's because of the simplicity. So they just put 4. But in fact, you can still further break the non-REM stage slow wave sleep into stages, stage 3 and 4. Okay. Yep. So I guess that's all.
Right. Okay. Again, thanks, Mark, for the sharing. Very good sharing as usual from you. And I hope that everyone really learns something. Really put the 7 to 9 hours of sleep in whatever that you do. And we are going to announce the winners for the quiz. Give us some time. You know it when you know it. And that's the final thing I wanted to let you all know again. The Tenta Book Club, we are running the book club boot camp. So we have our first session of writing a fiction story, fiction book last week. So next week we are going to have non-fiction book writing. So you are going to learn about how you get your knowledge, your idea from the idea alone, and then you are going to publish your own book. So I sent the link on the chat. So do register if this is something that you wanted to learn. If you have a lot of ideas, you wanted to write books, but you do not know where to start, how to start, or just whatever question that I have, please attend that 2 days class. It will be half day, the second half of the day on Monday and Tuesday. And I believe that you might learn something different and probably connect with the speaker. We're going to have Evelyn Tan. You probably have gone through her classes previously. Attend it and see if it's something that you need. And if not, I think that is also fine. And this just gives us an opportunity to do something different so that you can write the book. And hope that it's helpful. Just click to register on the meetup, and then we are going to send you a proper calendar after this. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. And again, join for the class, and we are going to see you again coming first Monday of the month. All right, in November. All right. See you guys. Bye bye.
See you guys. Thanks for the attendance. Thanks. Bye.